Hey, you dorks, this is Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you are listening to The Dorkening.
Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, and although you probably accidentally stumbled across it and have no idea why you're watching it, you are in fact watching The Dorkening.
Hello, this is Tom Kenny, voice actor, the voice of the Ice King on Adventure Time, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Ah, meow. Oh, Gary the Snail, too. Hey, guess what you're filling your eye holes and ear holes with? The Dorkening! Oh, I love the Dorkening. Very popular in Ooh, and Bikini Bottom.
Hi, I'm Lou Ferrigno. You're watching The Dorkening. You know what? You don't like me when I get angry, so don't get me angry. You better keep watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, this is Felissa Rose, and you're watching The Dorkening.
Hey guys, it's Courtney Palm. We're shooting Death House, and you're watching The Dorkening.
This is Anthony Michael Hall, and you're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned, my friends are going to show you what entertainment's all about, baby.
The Dorkening.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
And here we are. We're now live for another Indie Creator Spotlight powered by the Dorkening Podcast Network. We have an awesome set of guests for you today. We're talking about the movie Evil Under the Skin. And Patrick, hello. How's it going, sir?
It's going pretty well. How are you, Leo?
Doing well. Would you like to introduce our awesome guest?
I do. We have a great triumvirate for you here today. We have the stars. We have Helen Udy, we have Tim Ahern, and we have director Jeffrey Schneider. Jeff, how are you? You look very relaxed.
So your movie is out today on VOD. Actually, is it out today? I'm sorry, I have my date. I'm like everything's a blur. Out in 2 days, right?
Right, on the 8th.
On the 8th. Now, do we have permission to show the trailer?
Sure.
Awesome. So here we go. It's going to be available on VOD on all major platforms, and I believe there's a physical media release as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, through midnight releasing.
Did you happen to hear a disturbance last Thursday about 10 p.m.? Maybe you were having a party.
My daughter and I, we're eating and sleeping and sunbathing, and it's all very low key.
Okay, just one more shot, and then we'll slow down.
Leave your daughter by herself at any time?
Is everything okay?
That's why we're here, Miss Palmer.
This is how it starts. This is how it always starts.
If anything had happened, she would have told me.
We all have secrets, Miss Palmer. Kids do things sometimes they don't want to talk about. type of behavior we wouldn't expect. Leave your daughter by herself at any time?
My daughter is gone. 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 Do you understand? She's not here, and she needs help.
I know what you did.
Miss Palmer, are you okay?
Nobody hurts my baby.
There we go. So if you're looking for an awesome new horror movie to watch, definitely check it out. It's going to be available in 2 days. And looks like we lost Patrick. He'll be hopping back on in a second. Jeff, would you like to give a brief synopsis of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, the movie was written by Luc Bernier, and it's sort of I don't want to give away too much, but basically it's about a mother and a daughter who sort of get away to reconnect for a weekend, and they're looking to just sort of relax, and the mother wants to reconnect with the daughter who sort of got involved in this person that she didn't particularly agree with and who wasn't good for her daughter. And then as the story progresses, Helene's character sort of devolves into these sort of psychotic states, and you're not sure if it's people that are messing with her, you're not sure if it's her sort of going crazy. And as the movie sort of progresses, all that unfolds in sort of a very strange and unusual way. I guess that would be the easiest way to say it.
Nice. And what drew you to having Helene and Tim join your production there?
It actually, Luke who wrote the script is just the best people. He's just the greatest guy, super supportive, very much supports everyone's endeavors. And he was able to get Helene to come on board. And I've worked with her on this and also on another movie with actually Tim and her coming out this coming year called Red versus Wolf. And it was just a great experience for me. I mean, Helene is just someone where it doesn't matter how much you sort of heap on her to perform. She just puts her head down and is just the best person to work with. I mean, I can't say it enough, and it's all true. Is the fact is it doesn't. There were times when we were shooting Red versus Wolf where I was like, man, there's just so much that has to be done, and the time frame is so ridiculous. And she just, like drinking a glass of water, she would just trudge through it. And Tim is the same way. I mean, they're just so great to work with. And Luke brings these people onto these projects that we do. And he always brings the best people. And it's just the greatest time because of that.
Helen, I believe your dog is hearing my dog bark as well.
Yeah. One of my 8 dogs, so that small bark. I wish I could do something about it. But anyway, we should be fine.
So what drew you to the script?
Well, Luke Jeff is absolutely right about that. Luke is a very old and very dear friend of mine, and he was telling me about writing the script, and he was kind of writing it for me and Donna in mind. So I read a very early draft of it, and he was lucky to find Jeff, and Jeff took an interest in it, and they've been a really good pair because Jeff really knows what to do with the kind of material that Luke writes, which is very character driven. And Jeff knows how to take that material and build the scares in, and it's been a very good match. But that's how I ended up here. I'm really grateful. I'm grateful that Jeff keeps hiring me. It's all good. I've done 3 movies for you now, because when you were shooting Red versus Wolf, this is how crazy things are. You shot two movies back to back. What was the other one? Donna starred in that one.
Well, we shot 3. We actually shot 3 in 10 days, and that's where I was saying, Helene is just amazing to work with, and Tim too, because they'll just, hey, we're going to do all this stuff, and they're like, oh, okay. But the 3 movies we shot were, the first one was Red versus Wolf, which was Helene was the primary. Then we shot one called Loose Luck, where Donna was the primary and Helene was in that. And then we shot another movie beyond that Luke was in called Alien Wars Judgment Day. And so we probably aren't ever going to do that again. I say that, but because it was just crazy to try and coordinate people coming in. You had people coming in on a certain day, leaving on another day because they had other productions. So you had to coordinate who's shooting whose scenes with what, which movie, what character am I today. And Carl Bailey was another actor. He's not on the talk today, but it was just a situation where you had all these moving parts, and it has to be sort of tightened down to the nth degree, and it doesn't leave a lot of leeway. And that's where Shooting Evil Under the Skin was a lot more relaxed. We only shot one movie that week, and we were at a lake, and we had this nice house we could stay in, and so it was much more of a leisurely experience. But yeah, I mean, Helen's absolutely right. We shot Loose Luck, Red versus Wolf, and then we shot another movie on the tail end of that called Alien Wars. And all three of those are due out next year. But it's just to work with these guys. I mean, Tim and Helen and Carl Bailey and Pamela Such and Luke Bernier being on set. It's just working with the best people that you could possibly imagine. And I mean, anyone who's out there, hire these guys because they're just great to work with and just phenomenal professional people to work with.
That's a fantastic testimonial.
That is. I'm grateful.
Thank you. Same with you.
And I love saying it because it's true. And I've been on sets where that wasn't the case, where everyone wasn't solid gold or where there were difficulties, and it's never any fun. But with these guys, it's a treat every day to work with them. And Donna as well, if I didn't mention her name, she's another one who's just fantastic to work with.
Yeah.
Donna Hamblin.
Yeah. Donna Hamblin.
Well, I was just going to say you all did an amazing job on this. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay. One of the things I like to do is I like to look at some of the behind the scenes stuff on IMDb. So my initial question has to be, I would like to know a little bit more about Frankie, the production mascot.
Yes. Frankie, the production mascot, was Don Littlejohn's dog, who was the gal who actually helped us with the locations. And he was just a super awesome dog. Everyone loved him. And he was always there to be petted and relieve stress and just be awesome. He was just a super cool animal. And so I'm like, I got to get a shot of him. And we started calling him the production mascot. And then eventually I did a little Photoshop and gave him his own little sort of title card thing. But he was just, he was a lot of fun.
Excellent. So where, if we already covered this, forgive me because my computer is being all wonky for some reason. Where did you guys shoot, and was it a location with which you were already familiar?
I don't know if they heard you.
The where we shot was a place called Devil's Lake, which is...
sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, it was a place called Devil's Lake on the Oregon coast.
It's definitely appropriate.
Were you able to hear that?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, definitely appropriate.
Or are we losing up?
If we can turn to you.
Okay. And so it's like 10 minutes from the coast, which is real interesting there because it's about 10 minutes from the coast. It's over there just inland from the coast by Lincoln City, and just a really scenic location, and just a lot of great places. We shot in a state park that was down the road. We actually shot a couple of scenes of a huge kite festival over on the coast, and we just never got that footage into the film. But it's just a super, if you ever get a chance to go to Lincoln City in Oregon or to go to the beach there, just a lot of really scenic, beautiful places, and it was great to shoot there.
So, Tim, I want to turn to your character for a moment here, because it seemed like you were almost channeling like Richard Brake from some of these Rob Zombie films that he's been in. Like that's the vibe I got from you.
Oh, that's a great compliment. Thanks.
No,
I love that guy.
Was that something you were going for, or you were just trying to be, like creepy and menacing as to the best of your ability?
Yeah, I was just being myself. Creepy, menacing. I've done this was probably like the 4th film I've done with Donna, so I think that's why her and I were chosen to be brother and sister. We're very comfortable working together, obviously. I don't want to give too much away on the character, but
yeah. I would say that the comfort level definitely was apparent throughout the film. We'll say that.
Okay.
So, one of the things I have to ask, and Helene, this is for you, was it warm enough, especially like shooting some of these opening scenes? Because it looked very relaxing sitting in that Adirondack. But were you warm enough? Like, what was the temperature like? Because it seemed like it might have been a little chilly for you guys, especially coming out of the water there.
No. I wasn't warm. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was balmy. It was warm and sunny, and it was. The light was really bright, I remember. I don't know. I was in character. I found it a little oppressive, actually. Jeff, was it warm or am I dreaming?
Yeah, it was warm, but I thought I remembered there was maybe a couple of scenes shot where it was maybe a little bit more temperate, but for the most part, it was really nice weather. I mean, it was gorgeous, and there were days where it was 80, and it was really, really warm. I think now Angela Barajas, who plays her daughter, Rose Lee, she had to get in the water, and the day we had her get in the water, I think it was warm. It just wasn't hot, and I think it might have been a little cooler for her on one of those days, but because she had to actually get in the water. But overall, it was super nice. We had maybe one day of rain, but all the other days it was warm and really humid and actually really comfortable.
Yeah.
No, I was just asking because in that scene where she's talking with Rose Lee at the beginning, she definitely has goosebumps. Rose Lee, Angela's character. She definitely has goosebumps. It's like, oh, maybe it's a little cold, like maybe like there's a breeze or something, and it's a little chilly, but like the sun's out, so it looks sunny. So I was just curious about
It was really windy that day. You're right about that. It was really windy on the day when we shot the both of them in their bikinis. That is true, yeah.
Okay. That might have been it, because it I was gonna compliment you ladies for powering through wearing what you were wearing in the despite the temperature extremes.
Oh no, it wasn't. That was not a hardship. I've had hardships. That wasn't one of them.
So,
but thank you. I'll take it.
My guess is your easiest scene was sitting in that chair just
taking in the sun. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very
it was just me taking in the sun, or thinking, or sleeping. There was a lot of pondering. Yeah.
See, I think that was probably like a nice, easy, relaxing scene for you to just sort of.
We were moving really fast, so there wasn't a whole lot of time to, lie around. That was actually some acting. Just sitting there because, we shot a really great movie. We shot it in 10 days. Jeff was really organized, but we were making it happen.
Well, that's a testament to a good production is making sure you all organized in order to meet that short shooting schedule. Let's talk a little bit about the acting. Was there any characters that you drew upon, or any acting from your past for this character? And I know it's a little tough to talk about because we don't want to spoil anything for the movie. But was there anybody from your past that you drew on for your character?
I really, and this is how I work. The girl, Rose Lee, that I was working with, sorry, I don't know why my phone keeps pinging. She was wonderful. She was really easy. We connected really well. And I just like to believe that I'm in a situation. I do a lot of homework beforehand to figure out what a person like me specifically would have had to do to get into a place like that. To be in the shoes of the characters. So, I've had times in my life where things were not what they appeared to be, and you find out later. And there's a time in your life when you're getting signals. I'm so sorry about this. You're getting signals that things are awry, but you don't trust the signals, or you get off balance and you're not sure. I've had that feeling before, and so it was easy. I can recall that feeling right now. It was easy to be in the shoes of this woman who is suddenly not sure exactly of what is happening. So that was the creepy fun of it. Actually, it was to live in the moment.
And I do have to say, so I watched the movie twice, and on my second rewatch, I love the little clues that I missed the first time, as of trying to give you, a little sense of what might actually really be happening. And it's I don't want to say anything to spoil it, but yeah, really well done.
Jeff, for you, one of the questions I had is about the editing, because one of my favorite shots is the green hued clouds. I thought was really cool, but there's a scene towards the end where you've got the piano music, and every time a key is struck, the picture on screen changes, and I thought that was a really nice touch. Now, was that something that you did, or was that something that your editor decided, or did you edit, and how did that come about?
I think we got a little bit of a delay with Jeff.
Yeah, I think so.
On that, I actually did the.
Oh, darn it.
Oh, we lost your audio there, Jeff. He's muted.
But I think he was saying that he did the editing. He did do the editing on it.
Right.
Tim, do you know much about that?
Jeff, there's a button that should be, you're muted. You just gotta hit the button to unmute yourself.
And there's not a way to unmute him from your end?
I hit the button, but it's can't unmute you yet.
There we go. No. There we go. Ah.
Okay.
Okay. Now
there we go.
Now I'm unmuted for now. So, yeah, but what I'm saying is that I did the editing, but Kelly Rhodes, who supplied the soundtrack for the movie, I always like to have music to edit to. It always, for me, makes it easier. So once I knew I was going to use that track for that closing scene, then it was just a matter of cutting the material around it, and that made it a lot easier. And Kelly did a great job on the soundtrack. It all feels like it's part of the movie. And he was great to work with as well. He was just a really laid-back guy. He's actually the brother of Randy Rhodes, who was the guitarist for Black Sabbath. And so when I went to his music school, he had all these pictures and memorabilia from when his brother used to teach there. But Kelly's just a great artist, and he's more of a classical artist than a rock artist. But a lot of fun to work with him as well.
I would say that like those types of piano pieces definitely heighten, the creepy factor. Whenever you have like piano and strings, it definitely enhances the feeling of creepiness in a film. And I think that with a horror film, being able to set the mood is one of the more important aspects of the film, because even if you have like great writing, great acting, if you don't have a good score, that can kind of lessen the impact that the film has. And by the
That's
same
very
token,
true.
with a great score, you can enhance an already well-made film.
Absolutely.
So I liked, there was a lot of drone shots, and I really liked why, I have a good idea of what that was, representing, and again, don't want to spoil anything, but I like the fact that you guys used a lot of drone shots and a lot of, kind of unique angles and distances when it came to shooting certain scenes. Can you tell us a little bit about the thought process that went into that?
Well, whenever you're doing a smaller production or an indie production, you try and do whatever you can to escalate to elevate the production value. And the drone, even though it has its limitations, was really the best way that we could sort of do more creative shots. We could do jib shots and things of that nature, but those sort of the traveling shots over the lake and that sort of feeling of being in this dream state, and then we're going back to Helene's insanity, Sophie's insanity. That using that was something that was relatively easy to do, and the more of that you can have, even for just B-roll or to transition, the better off you are, because you can just get so much mileage out of drone shots and so much of an elevated quality by using them. We were just worried we didn't want to use them too much, because then you don't want every shot to be a drone shot, but we wanted to use it enough to get what we could out of it.
I definitely think it enhanced, some of the scenes that were going on. Like, if it hadn't been done with drone, I think it might have been, it probably would have been effective, but maybe not as effective as kind of, giving you that almost like a skewed perspective at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was a very nice touch.
Now, I was going to say, Tim, it's actually a shock we haven't had you on the show before, because we've covered a lot of the movies that you've been in. Just looking at your IMDb, starting with 100 Years, also Killer Rack. We did a big coverage on Death House. Actually, we were on the set of Death House during actually the prison riots. We might have bumped into you.
Yeah, that was when I was there, definitely.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, we must have seen you. We spent most of the day in the cafeteria. So, Theater of Terror as well, Johnny Gruesome, and then Patrick, you were saying there was like 6 degrees with Tim.
Yeah, so you were in Killer Rack, which has Debbie Rochon, and Debbie Rochon is in an upcoming film, Axe to Grind Part 2, and that also had Colton in it. Even though he had a small role as Dale, I believe his name was, in Evil Under the Skin. So it's kind of like a weird, circular connection there.
Now, I've been busy for a couple of years.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Both you and Helen, your IMDb's you guys are definitely
prolific. Well, I mean, you're shooting 3 movies a week. What do you expect? So, Tim, when you were crafting your character, like, is there, again, like we just said, you're prolific. Is there a specific method that you go through? Is there a specific headspace you go through? It's like, okay, this is what this character's like. How do you get into your character?
Yeah, usually I kind of research, like Helene was talking about. I'll look up online, or I'll try to find other movies with the same kind of character and just kind of study that. But like I said, this one was really easy, working with Donna, just because of the rapport her and I have together.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of played off of each other as far as that goes.
Is there a specific actor that you, maybe model a performance after? Like for this one, was there somebody specific that you were like, okay, this guy was good. I want to kind of emulate this as best I can.
No, not for this one. Not really.
No.
Like I said, a lot of it was just Don and I working off of each other.
Yeah, you guys definitely have a lot of chemistry. Like, you can definitely see that you've worked together before. There's like unspoken bond that you guys have definitely, like you said, a great rapport, and it definitely shows through on the film.
Yeah, we have fun with it too. That's part of it.
I think you have to.
Right.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to break in here for a quick second and remind you that every show is brought to you by Deadly Grounds Coffee. It's the most amazing coffee you'll ever have, and now more than ever, we need to support local artists, local filmmakers, and local businesses. Deadly Grounds, they're a local roaster right here in Connecticut, and a little mom and pop shop to make the best coffee you'll ever have. But here's a zombie talking about coffee, and then I'll do a rerun of the trailer for. Here we go.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
And here's a trailer for Evil Under the Skin. It stars Helen Udy and Tim O'Hearn as well. A mother will do anything for her child. Jeff Schneider's captivating new horror film, Evil Under the Skin, comes out in 2 days. Here we go.
Did you happen to hear a disturbance last Thursday about 10 p.m.? Maybe you were having a party.
My daughter and I, we're eating and sleeping and sunbathing, and it's all very low key.
Okay, just one more shot, and then we'll slow down.
Leave your daughter by herself at any time?
Is everything okay?
That's why we're here, Miss Palmer.
This is how it starts. This is how it always starts.
If anything had happened, she would have told me.
We all have secrets, Miss Palmer. Kids do things sometimes they don't want to talk about. Type of behavior we wouldn't expect. Leave your daughter by herself at any time?
My daughter is gone. 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 Do you understand? She's not here, and she needs help.
I know what you did.
Miss Palmer, are you okay? Oh, it hurts my baby.
And like I said, Evil Under the Skin comes out on VOD and physical media for you collectors in 2 days. So September 8th. Check the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. I got a bunch of links there, including midnight releasing if you want to do a pre-order. And yeah. How about that, Patrick?
That's good stuff. Now, who supplied the props for this? Because I want to talk about that knife holder, because that was a phenomenal knife holder. And
that's actually a knife holder that we have in our home. And when I was talking with Luke, if I remember right, I was talking with Luke on the phone, and I was in the kitchen, and I looked over at that, and he was telling me loosely about the story, and I'm like, oh, I got to put that in there somewhere. That's got to go in there somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the next question I have is, and we just saw it in the trailer, was that fireball in the or did you dump it out and put maybe something that tastes better than fireball, like kerosene, into the bottle?
I'm a fan of Fireball, but we were fortunate in that we found this pre-mixed tea that was the perfect coloration. And so even though they looked like they were having fun, it was just tea they were drinking.
Although I'm a big fan of Fireball too. I love it. So.
I can't. My brothers drink it all the time, and I'm like guys, like they buy tons of it. And I'm like, you're adults and you can buy anything you want, right?
Yeah.
Actually,
you have all these options, and yet Fireball.
You go back to candy in the end.
And what's ironic is my youngest brother loves it the most, and he nearly choked on one of those atomic fireballs when he was about 5.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
But for some reason, he loves it.
He's just a glutton for punishment.
It's got to be what it is. Like that's what they go to.
So wait, back up. So I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Fireball. Is it a whiskey? What is it?
Yeah.
It's cinnamon schnapps, essentially.
Oh,
Have
okay.
you ever had one of those atomic fireballs?
I have some in the back if you want to.
I would do a shot.
On hand. I have to have some.
Yeah, right. If we can get sponsored by those guys, that would help pay some bills.
Right.
Like I said, I'm not a huge fan, but like I would do a shot with you guys. I would absolutely do a shot with you guys. So how much input, based on the story that Luke brought to you, how much of that original idea ended up in the film, and how much got changed? And this could be for any one of you guys, Jeff especially, but Tim and Helene, how much?
I'll let Tim answer that first.
Well, I would say, well, like in the original story, the script was much shorter, and so I actually added in the character of the sheriff and the ranger. They weren't in the original script, but everyone's individual character. I kind of believe that filmmaking is an organic process, and so the control that the actors, when you have good actors like these guys, you can give them a lot of leeway to develop how they want their characters to interact, and I like that process of letting the actors sort of create like the chemistry that Donna and Tim had, the chemistry that Pamela and Carl had with the sheriff and the ranger, that Angela and Helene had. I sort of really like to kind of let that happen, and then guide where need be. The interesting part was Colton Baumgartner, who played Dale, the abusive boyfriend, just the nicest kid in the world. He's super nice, and we were able, however, to sort of, he needed a little bit more direction on how to be that sort of schmarmy, aggressive, abusive type boyfriend, because that was sort of something that he wasn't familiar with. But overall, everyone else who was seasoned, I really like to just see what they come up with, and then only give a little bit of direction here and there if we're going off the rails. You can't do that always in every film. You're not fortunate to work with people like this in every single movie you work on. But in this particular film, it was great because you could just allow the actors to sort of evolve in a very organic process. And I think it comes across much more genuine that way if you have the right actors.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Especially because when you have people who are veterans and who are creative, you're going to look at these things and it's like, well, what if I tweaked it ever so slightly and turned it thusly? Because everyone's going to look at something with a different angle. Like each of you are going to look at the script from a different angle because you have a specific mindset and you're going in like, okay, this is my job. This is how I'm going to do this. And you can't get into each other's heads, not too much, but you're able to kind of, craft it so that you all have the same vision, which I always think anytime I see a film, it's always very interesting to see how it came together and how everyone sort of crafted their own little piece of it. No matter what your role is, you leave this indelible mark on the film that you're a part of.
And Helen, I think you had something to add. Did you have something to say in the beginning regarding the?
No, I mean I can say this. I can say that the script that I read, which was an earlier version, yes, I now remember that those characters that Jeff added weren't there. But it was always it didn't change that much from when I first read an early draft. And what I found amazing was how there were spaces in the reading of it, you could feel the space. And that's unusual. I do think I mentioned that, but I think it's a style that Jeff has been able to handle really well with Luke's writing. Specifically, Luke's writing is very spacious that way, and so it was very interesting to be on set and to have Jeff allow us to have these moments. I remember there was a moment where I was just wandering through the trees. We were just taking shots of me wandering through the trees, and Jeff would throw thoughts at me, or sometimes not for a while, and how that all came together in the end. So I would say, it was a very interesting process in that way. Jeff obviously had ideas. I just went along for the ride,
And obviously, you guys you had the freedom to kind of craft and create your characters. Now, when you say that the script was spacious, does that mean like, it gave you a little bit of the script itself gave you the freedom to kind of improvise and adapt and almost ad lib?
No. What I mean, and I'm sorry for not being clear because it's such an unusual thing. In the script, there is large chunks of quiet of what the character is thinking, but there's not a lot of words, and the words are important and meaningful when they come. But like Jeff said, it's a short script because there's less dialogue than in many scripts I've read, and there is a lot of inner thinking without words, which is so unusual. I think that obviously this woman, well, we don't want to say too much, but this woman is experiencing a confusion between what's true and what's not true. I'll say that. And how do you do that effectively? She's alone most of the time. She's alone a lot of the time, and then people come in. So how do you do that effectively? I was quite interested to see how it would end up on film, and it worked out really, really beautifully. I think it was a really sort of a very unique approach to filmmaking, both on the side of the writer and the side of the director. They were well joined in a vision. But I will say this: I will say that although Jeff left us alone, he didn't leave us alone. He had very strong intention, and the intention was clear in the setup of where we were, the location. Felt very isolated at times. Sometimes we were shooting late into the night, I just felt like everybody was on a rhythm, that there was a rhythm that we were experiencing, whether we knew it or not. We were kind of in the role of that film, like pretty much 24/7, because that's what it took to shoot it. We didn't sleep. I slept probably more than everybody else, but yeah, no. I think we were definitely in the role. I mean, Tim and Donna were on set the whole time as well. There was a Winnie outside, and so we worked together, we slept together. We were always on the set, and I think that creates kind of a really fun dynamic. You're kind of always in the movie, which is something I like to do. So I was sort of always kind of in character because there was no break. I slept in the bed that I actually slept in. It's in the movie. That was my bed, at night. Helene's bed and Angela's bed. So yeah, so it's one of those experiences. Actually, actors really like that. I mean, I don't know if all actors do. I do, because every movie for me needs to be an adventure. I love an adventure, and I love it when I get to fly somewhere, be in a new environment. Even if it's in the States, it's always new, interesting, and have an adventure. And this was an adventure from beginning to end. Yeah.
I think that shows a lot of faith by the writer in your ability to, it's like, okay, here's what your character's thinking. Now go portray this without dialogue. I think that's a testament both to the writing and the directing and the acting, your portrayal and the way it's shot, getting to see, we don't know what was on that page. We don't know what was specifically going through your character's head, but the way we are able to see how you convey that on the screen, it was definitely something that I would refer to as traumatic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's a testament to all the facets of making this film, and I thought it was very impressive.
Yeah, I have to say it was my first time working with Jeff, my first time working with Tim, and I think my first time working with Donna too, though I've worked with Donna since and Jeff since and Tim since. And so I would say, like at the beginning, I thought it was going to be a challenging script because it kind of reminded me of Cries and Whispers, an old Ingmar Bergman film. And I thought it's going to take a lot of talent to get this right. You have to attest the fact that it's an unusual movie, and I think that we just all sort of we're there and we're committed to it. But it's not to see the outcome was really pleasing. It was really pleasing to see. Jeff's mind at work on set and then in the editing room, yeah.
I know we are coming up on time, but I wanted to talk a little bit about, what you guys have coming up next. I know with everything on lockdown and a lot of filming has stopped. Hopefully you guys, you have 30 movies among all of you that are currently into works. And it looks like Red Wolf, you said is coming out next year. So can you explain Red Wolf and maybe some other projects that are sort of like made over the hump that we could see before everything is fixed? And we'll start with Jeff.
When also I know Tim's got some that he wants to talk about this. Yeah. I would say like Red versus Wolf is sort of a psychological thriller, and without giving too much away, it sort of has this woman pitted against this trail killer who has hacked into her phone and sort of has her prisoner, and psychologically they have to duel it out. She has to sort of look at some things that happened in her life that she feels where she fell short and where she failed and let other people down. And this sort of experience with this trail killer who has her sort of pinned down with a gun and she can't see him, but she knows that he's there. It's really a good film that sort of just outlines how people hold on to things that really they should have best let go, or they should have talked to other people more about so they could let them go. And so that's one of the films that's coming out. That's Red versus Wolf. And then we have Alien Wars, which actually has Luke in it and Donna in it as well. And that is sort of a psychological thriller about these people that are isolated. And it's sort of the aliens have come and have killed most everyone. And as you become sort of the last people on Earth, it sort of causes you to go a little bit insane. At the same time, there's these other external forces at work. So it's sort of similar to the genres that we've been doing. And then the other film, which is Loose Luck, is sort of out of all three movies, it's sort of more the dark humor of the films. And it sort of just analyzes this woman who goes to a new town to get a new beginning, thinks she meets the perfect guy, and then, of course, everything isn't as it seems, and then we see that sort of progress. But those are the three movies are all in post-production, so fortunately we got to those before COVID hit, and we're in the process of getting those finished up. There's a few other projects that I'm working on, and then there's two I'm working on with a company called Uncommon Dialogue Films down in Los Angeles, which I can't talk too much about. That's pretty much what I have, but I know that Tim has some big projects coming up, and so if you're going to go to him next, I would imagine.
Oh, totally. Tim.
So I have a short film I wrote and directed last year called The Door. It's roughly about a guy who's obsessed with westerns and cowboys and finds a door in the middle of the woods as he's out going for a ride on his horse. And once he goes through the door, he ends up in the Wild West, 1800s, and finds this guy called the Beast who he encounters. And that's about all I'll say about that at this point. Now,
Just real quick, when I saw the door listed, that it looks really familiar. Was that shown at Buffalo Dreams?
yes,
Okay, that's where I might have seen it.
right. Yeah, I also won Best Western New York short film for that
Awesome.
last week at Buffalo Dreams. It's also won a couple other awards, and it's playing in Tucson, Arizona, near Tucson, at a film festival that is nothing but westerns. We're also nominated for 9 awards at that one. So, and next month, well, actually in the middle of this month, I'm shooting the feature version of that film. So I've been really busy with putting that all together at this point.
Excellent. Yeah, and it's and we went to Buffalo Dreams a couple of years ago, and I remember seeing this listed. So you went just recently, right?
What's that?
The door was just recently at Buffalo Dreams, or
last weekend?
Last weekend. Yeah, I remember seeing it listed. That's where it struck my memory. But there was one where we saw a couple of years back called Flat, and it won a bunch of awards as well. And definitely it went in. He's doing a feature now. So how difficult is that process going back to the original story and expanding it for a feature film?
Actually, I wrote and directed the story. I actually hired director commission to write the feature. For that matter, I just go for the meat. It's hard for me to do all that character building and things for a full feature film. The Door was only my second attempt at writing and shooting a short film. So actually, I hired Greg, wrote the feature based on the story. He really liked the story. And I know he's talked to me before, like one of his big things he's always wanted to be a Western. So I was like, here you go. Here's your chance.
Nice. Can't wait to check it out. Helene, what about you? What's going on?
Where can we see The Door now? If we can see it at a film festival, where would we go?
It's still running in festivals.
Oh, so you have to see it in a festival. Got it. Yeah.
Right.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff going on right now. I'm leaving tomorrow to go shoot a movie called The Embalmers, written by Diane Fraker and directed by Diane Fraker and Rebecca Reinhardt, and I'm very excited about it. I get to play the Queen Hillbilly of the Rats family. I'm the head of the Rats family hillbilly bunch, and we do all sorts of naughty things, and I'm very excited about that. I'm going to come back and start rehearsal for a movie. This is the psychological thriller. So The Embalmers is, it's a cut 'em up horror movie kind of thing, tongue in cheek about hillbillies being rotten. And then I'm doing a movie with Marco Bazzi. He's from Spain, and he's written a wonderful psychological thriller. Not that different in terms of tone from Evil Under the Skin. It's definitely, but I'm not the lead in it. I'm the lead's mother, and I wasn't a perfect mother. Must be my laugh. I don't know. Anyways, I'm really looking forward to doing that. And then I'm doing a movie with Monty Pleasance. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it. And that's a wonderful movie. Again, that's a psychological movie about a young man whose life kind of gets destroyed by the drug that he's taken. But I'm also really excited. In February, I'm going to shoot a movie in England on a canal boat called, oh my gosh, The Ghost of Lady Jane, I think it's called. Well, you'll have to look it up on IMDb. I think it's posted.
The Haunting of Lady Jane.
The Haunting of Lady Jane. And it all takes place on the canals in England, and it's going to be really mysterious and wonderful. And so, COVID has been very, very good to me. I work a lot with David Picoto. I can't list all of the projects, but I've as things have opened up in COVID times, and it is possible to shoot movies now. And I think people are just making up for lost time. So I am really, really busy, and I am really, really grateful to be really, really busy and doing projects. I really try to choose my projects with people that are doing up to really interesting stuff. And, I think Jeff Schneider falls into that category for sure. I'm excited about all these projects.
Well, we love to hear that because, our show is, about supporting indie actors, indie filmmakers. And, to hear you guys being so busy, especially now with COVID, it's since a lot of the big budget movies can't come out, I think this is forcing a lot of people to give a second look at the movies that they wouldn't have seen before. And there's a lot of awesome original stories that have been happening for a long time that just people were missing. And, this is a good chance for people to open up their eyes and see awesome movies like Evil Under the Skin. Patrick, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I just I think people should check this film out. Obviously, a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication went into making it. I definitely think that Leo, you're right on the money when you're talking about looking for something new. Like if you don't want to spend $30 on Mulan when you can wait a couple of months and it'll be on streaming for free anyway, take that money and go. You can pick up the good independent stuff, whether you get it on Vimeo or Vudu or whether it's the physical discs you can pick up at Walmart. There's a lot of places where you can get high quality entertainment, and I urge people to check this one out as well.
Yeah. So Evil Under the Skin comes out in 2 days by midnight releasing. You can find a bunch of information down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. It's coming out via midnight releasing, so you will be able to get physical media. I know a lot of people that watch this love collecting physical media like ourselves. So Jeff, where do you like people following you on social media?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we might still have the delay.
They can follow me on. I sent some links on Facebook and Instagram. I think I got the Instagram one in there, but those would be probably the two easiest to follow me. I have a Twitter, and maybe I actually should be doing Twitter more. So I would say Twitter as well. I don't know if I sent you the link for Twitter though, because I'm a bad Twitter person. I don't really do enough Twitter. One other thing I wanted to say is one of the reasons I'm in my car right now is I'm actually out in Central Oregon location scouting for the next Luc Bernier film, which is The Accident, which we're hoping to shoot early this coming year. So it's one of the reasons I'm sort of spotty service as well, as I'm out in the sticks right now.
Well, can't wait to hear it, and can't wait to have you guys back. We'd love to have you all back, for your future productions. Tim, we can't wait to see The Door, but where do you like people following you on social media?
Basically Facebook. I too have a Twitter account, but I couldn't even tell you the last time I was on it. So. I have Instagram. Again, I'm not on that very much either. But.
Okay. Well, I mean, everybody has their own, that they dedicate it to. So it's so it sounds like Facebook is the best for you. And so for The Door, I know you're doing the festival runs. Any online festivals? I know there's been a couple so far, but any that we might be able to go in and see it.
I'm trying to think. There was one. There's a couple that it got in, and they keep having to move the date out because they're trying to do a physical, actual screening. a theater or whatever, but it looks like they're going to be online. So I guess, yeah, if you find my Facebook page and look on there, that's mainly what's on there, is all my promotional stuff for my movies and bands. So.
Sounds good. I think I'm following you, so I'll keep an eye out for it. Helene, would you like interacting with your fans on social media?
I like the rest of them. I have been using Facebook for years and years, but I just got into Instagram maybe I don't know early this year, and now I do everything Instagram and then head it off to Facebook and then by hazard Twitter, because you could just press a button. I'm never really actually on Twitter, but I press that button, so you can find me on Twitter. And my name, just so people know, is Helene. The last name is U as in under, D as in David, Y as in yo-yo. And basically, if you Google my name, all of those things will come up, because I am lucky that it's not a name that everybody has. So you're more than likely to bump into me before you bump into anybody else. Although on Facebook, I do have a couple of fake people. So there's a couple of fake Facebook pages with my name on them, but you'll figure it out. You'll know which ones are active and which ones aren't. And I do run a show called Barajas, and I run it in my front garden now once a month for the folks. So if you live in Los Angeles, our next show is September 20th. And that is also on my Facebook page, but you can join Barajas on Facebook, which is WAS, further away, IST, further away, DAS with a question mark. And all the shows are listed there. That's a great passion of mine. So in between everything, I'm also producing a live show. And come say hello. It's free, so why not?
Awesome. Patrick.
Best place for me is probably throwdownthursdaypodcast.com. There's a million different things that I'm doing now between this show, my main show, Throwdown Thursday, the satellite show to that, Shark Bites, and the new one we just started with my brothers and Slash's The Ice Queen doing hockey, the Loudest Sports Show, which, Leo, you were kind enough to make a couple of amazing logos for us, because I don't know how to do Photoshop. So you can hear me Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I just need to do a Wednesday show and I'll be all set.
You can always join us on on the Dorkening on Wednesday.
Well, yeah, I do that on occasion too. Sometimes I just need to breathe for a minute, so I can't. But you can also check out my book, How Much Do You Tip an Exorcist, from Source Point Press. That one, it's on pretty much anywhere you can get books. I don't know about physical copies because I haven't been to a bookstore, but that would be pretty awesome. And if that happens, I will be very excited. But Source Point Press, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, they're all carrying it. Oxeye Media as well. So it's a unique title, although there are actual instructional books that come up when you search for that. That's not what I did.
I think we lost Jeff. I want to thank you all for watching. And for me, just go to Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. But more importantly, follow our awesome guest and check out Evil Under Skin in 2 days on VOD and physical media. And for The Dorkening, you can just head on over to thedorkening.com, which we have 30 shows on the network now. It's pretty crazy. I want to thank you all for watching. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye, guys.